Good morning, I'm Dan Spieler. Indiana's coronavirus numbers continue to improve somewhat in recent days, with new developments this week on Pfizer boosters now available for millions of Americans. We'll be talking more about that later today. We're also talking about this looming deadline in Washington to fund the federal government, with the potential threat of a government shutdown next week as lawmakers battle over the spending bill proposed by Democrats and their calls to raise the debt ceiling. This week, our Kristen Eskow asked Senator Mike Braun about the fight over the debt ceiling and what could happen next in Washington.
You've said you're voting against raising the debt ceiling. Tell me why.
Okay, number one, I want to make it clear that we've accumulated all this debt up until recently by fault of both parties. I mean, Republicans and Democrats have been running this place in a way that's been irresponsible for years. Only 2.5 years ago, when I got here, we were 18 trillion in debt. Now we're 28 trillion. And I think the thing that bothers me here is it was bipartisan on what we did in 2020 to address the emergency issues regarding COVID. Here, through the rescue bill, 1.9 trillion, and now the 4.5 to 5 trillion hard and soft infrastructure, there's not a Republican that voted for it. So raising the debt ceiling can be done entirely by the Democrats. Generally, it's divided government where both have to do it. So since we didn't vote for any of the recent spending, and I think this should have been recognized a long time ago, that we can't keep spending and consuming money through the federal government. It's so much extra normal spending unrelated to our $1 trillion deficits we do annually, or the bipartisan bill we did together back in 2020.
Are you worried about the potential consequences if the U.S.
No,
doesn't
because generally it's going to get raised, and it's just a question of when the Democrats decide to do it. They can do that as part of the reconciliation bill, by the way.
Did want to ask you about that bill as well. Senator Manchin this week saying he has a limit for that bill of about 1.5 trillion as opposed to the 3.5 trillion dollars that has been proposed. I know you had said you're not necessarily opposed to all the programs in that package. So if that package was smaller, had a more narrow focus, could it gain your support?
I said clearly that I wouldn't be opposed to discussing the issues through regular order and budget process. And this is turning out almost exactly how I predicted it. I've been on record recently as saying Sinema and or Manchin will end up agreeing to a lesser amount. And the Democrats have put so much into it, from Biden, Pelosi to Schumer, that I thought that might be how it gets resolved. That remains to be seen, because at one time he said he didn't want to do any of it through the method. But that doesn't surprise me that he may say, hey, I've got a victory. I made it at least only 1 to 1.5 trillion, maybe 2 versus 3.5.
I also wanted to ask you about the Biden administration's COVID mandates. You've said you're opposed to those mandates he's issued, but Indiana Democrats have pointed out back in 2017 when you were at the State House, you did vote in favor of a bill that became law that requires the meningitis vaccine at public colleges and universities. So what changed for you in that time now opposing vaccine mandates?
That was very narrow, and it was done at the state level. And it was done to where at least legislators had a vote on it. Here, this is an edict from the highest level of authority that involves everyone.
And Eskow there with Senator Mike Braun. Meantime, this week, amidst the news about boosters and Pfizer's announcement of promising test results on kids 5 to 11, we spoke with White House vaccination coordinator Dr. Bashara Chukar.
Now we have to wait for Pfizer to submit the application to the FDA. The FDA will have to review the data to ensure the safety and the effectiveness of the vaccine for kids 5 to 11. Once the FDA makes that regulatory decision, then there'll be an advisory committee to the CDC that includes scientists and researchers and doctors who will review the data and opine on the use of the safety and effectiveness of the vaccine for kids. And then the CDC will make the final decision on that. So we know it's a process and might take several weeks, but it's really important that we follow this process, we follow the data, we follow the science. So by the time we get to the FDA and the CDC decision, we're very confident about the safety and effectiveness for vaccines for 5 to 11 years old. We'll have to wait and see what the FDA and CDC decision is on the vaccine safety and effectiveness for this age group. But until then, there's a lot of stuff we can do to make sure that those kids stay safe. We want to make sure that their older siblings are vaccinated. You as a parent around them are vaccinated. Your grandparents are vaccinated. Their teachers, their bus driver. It's really important that we create a space around those kids so that we can surround them with vaccinated people so we can protect them and protect our families.
Our interview there with the White House vaccination coordinator. Meantime, this week, we're also following the latest on the redistricting process at the State House. Got our first look at the state Senate maps this past week, and we could get a final vote on these maps here in the coming days, with both parties still feeling quite differently about the process and how it's played out. Democrats say the process wasn't transparent. Republicans say there were some significant population shifts they had to work with in drawing up these new maps.
As you know, a lot of rural areas didn't have as much population gain or potentially even loss, but the Marion County and the urban suburban area around it certainly gained a lot of population. So this was an idea to help follow that population around the state.
The most glaring thing that you will see is that 10 senators represent Marion County. 10. That's 20% of the legislature is in Marion County, which is absurd.
Now, you can take a closer look at those maps on our website. This week, I asked GOP Chairman Kyle Hupfer about the maps and about the redistricting reaction.
Let's start with redistricting, with more maps being unveiled this week at the State House. Is this truly a fair process?
Sure it is. I think they've done a great job. I mean, if you look at some of the things that are really critical, compactness of districts, keeping community interests together, they've really made a lot of progress over the prior maps, cutting down the number of split counties, which we hear a lot from folks. They want to be in one congressional district, one State House district, one Senate district. There's obviously, when you're trying to get to one person, one vote in Congress, or down to, 1% to 2% deviation for the state General Assembly seats, it's hard to do that, keep everything intact, but they've done a good job.
The maps look clean, as you pointed out, in terms of keeping counties together. Democrats have pointed out it's still drawn to, they feel, your political advantage. Last week, we spoke with your counterpart, Democratic Chair Mike Schmoll, and he said this about redistricting.
This was all done behind closed doors and done well in advance of the last couple of days. And so, they hired a DC GOP operative to kind of come in, kind of fix the system to their liking. And I think that that's unfair for Hoosiers.
What's your response to that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you look at Indiana, you can't draw maps that aren't going to favor the Republican Party. We've got 88% of countywide elected officials in the state are Republican now. 88%, Dan. So when Democrats say that's not, that the legislature doesn't reflect the state, it certainly does. And nobody is redrawing the county lines. And so we are a significant Republican state, a Republican majority. And where there are Democrat populations, they're pretty condensed in cities and municipalities, Bloomington, Indianapolis, Northwest Indiana. And so a lot of their Democrats are all going to get drawn into one or two or three districts in those areas. So we're a Republican state, we're red. We have wide swaths of this state where it's nothing but Republicans elected. But I get away from the politics on this, and it's because of the policies. Listen, Hoosiers are happy with where this state is. Low unemployment, record jobs, record wages. Republican leadership has been strong in this state, and they're going to continue to elect us regardless of what the maps look like.
How involved were you in this process?
None. Stayed out of it. Heard things at the end, saw maps at the end. It's really a legislative prerogative, and I think they did a good job with it.
What do you see as the future of the Republican Party here in Indiana and nationwide?
Well, we're looking at, redistricting will impact us as well. Once those maps are finalized, whatever form they take, we'll reorganize our state committee based on the congressional district. So we may have some new leadership at the state committee. I think both in Indiana and nationally, the Republican Party is focused on 2022. I mean, we've got to break the stronghold of Congress, Senate, and the president in DC. I mean, we're seeing the horrible policies that are trying to be enacted. we're hanging on by the filibuster to stop a lot of this legislation, relying upon a couple of moderate Democrats to hold that line. Luckily, it's been held to a large degree so far. That they're pushing for an agenda in Washington, D.C. that is not in alignment with Indiana, that's for sure.
GOP Chair Kyle Hupfer there. Coming up next on this week's edition of In Focus, we'll talk with our panel about President Biden's agenda, and we'll look at a new poll about whether voters think the country is on the right track currently or the wrong track next.